All right, in this video, we're going to go onwards with moment of inertia. And when we do this, we want to think through this idea of parallel axis theorem that comes out of what we talked about last time. You'll remember we did a shape last time where we had something like this, and I asked to find the moment of inertia around the x-axis. And then we took uh, basically a differential area here, and because that shape had its bottom side right on the x-axis, we had this moment of inertia that said I x is equal to bh cubed over 3. Now that's specifically for this with the constraint that it's on the x-axis. So what we're going to do here is look at what we call the parallel axis theorem. And so that parallel axis theorem is going to be building on what happens if we're uh, at a point here, which is just dA for this overall body. You can see the overall body all the way out like this. So that's our overall body, and we're going to take a differential area of that. And we care about an axis here, x, as it relates to the x prime axis. So as we build this out, we want to kind of be understanding how that plays out for each of these in relation to that. And so what we're going to do here is just build out that formula. And so this is a relationship between, again, the centroid of our object and the axes that go through there, and then offset a given distance. So if you look at the ix prime, we're going to see that this x prime is the green axis, and it has a relationship of this y prime distance away. So when you put that in, you're going to see that we have y prime squared times that dA. And then we're going to say, how does that compare to when we look at the x-axis? So again, this is the blue one here. We're going to say that's the integral of now using this y here. So the y squared times dA. Now, if you look at building the blue one and connecting it to what's happening in the green one there, you're going to see that we have a relationship between y prime and y, and that's going to be this. We're going to say, instead of saying y, we're going to say, how does that relate to y prime plus something that's listed here, and that's going to be this dy value. Dy is how far did we shift from one axis to another. All that's going to be squared times dA. So you'll see that this value of y is equal to y prime plus dy there. If you continue to build this out, and I'm just going to bring it backwards a little bit so you can see it, and that squared term, if we work through that, what you're going to have is the integral of y prime times squared times dA plus 2. After we pull that out, that's going to be dy times y prime. Again, this is the dy is representing how far did we come away one axis to another, plus here we have the integral of now the dy, just to be really clear, that's the distance squared times dA. Now, if you look at what happens there, you're going to see that this right here is been represented before, and you can see the value is this ix prime. So remember that this one right here, that's the same thing right there. So once we kind of extrapolated that out, this ends up going to 0 based off of where this is at. You got it basically, because it's from the centroid, one up and one down, you're going to find that goes to 0. We won't go into the math on that right now, but that's going to go to 0. And then this, since this term here is a given distance, it's a set distance, it's not part of the integral there, we're going to just bring that out. And so when we bring that out here on the other side, we're left with integral dA. So the final value of ix which this is the blue one here, just following it that all the way down. This is the same thing. We're just following this to there. If you simplify this down, this is I x prime plus dy squared times 8. Now, what does that mean? This term right here, this is specific through the centroid. So this axis, the Ix prime, anytime you want to find the moment of inertia of something, that's we're going to reference the centroid, the moment of inertia through the centroid, which is the minimum value, and then you're going to add this to it. How far did the axis shift? We're going to square that value and then multiply by a. That's going to give you the new moment of inertia. Now, the assumptions here when we do this is that the axes must be parallel, and the first set of axes goes through the centroid. So every time we're going to start with that centroid, moment inertia through the centroid, and then we add in this value, and we can get the moment of inertia for any axis at that point. So looking through here, we got a bunch of composite areas. It's going to tell us several things here. Notice that in the figure we're going to have for a circle, you're going to have, there's the centroid, that's the location of it. And then you're going to have two things. You're going to have, well, not necessarily two things, but a series of things. In this case here, we have two. We have Ix and Iy. So the moment of inertia doesn't matter if you're through the X or the Y. The resistance to rotation or bending would be the same there. This one, as though you had an axis Z coming out of the board and it's rotating around that axis. So all these shapes have a given value to it, where we're looking first at the centroid there. And anytime you see a bar or a prime, you can see that in these different cases, that means it's through the centroid. So here we have the centroid. So this Ix bar, if you looked at it, this one is going to be X prime. That's the X prime axis that goes through the centroid. And so that's the moment of inertia through the centroid. If you look directly at the Ix, which is the down at the bottom here, so we're going to see that's the x-axis here. That's the value for that one, and the same thing if you were to go here. So oftentimes this table basically builds out for us what the moment of inertia is. The question is, what happens if I wanted the moment of inertia around this x2 axis, or x double prime, whatever it is. If I have this axis, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the centroid axis, the x prime axis, and I'm going to find this dy, and I'm going to use that with the parallel axis theorem. So you can use the table if you have the exact right axes that's given, or we can use the parallel axis theorem. A whole bunch of different ones in here. And we'll start with this one down here in the next video.